Thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on this adorable Magnolia image called Tilda with Little Snowy. Isn't she cute? I will put a link down in the description box of the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I have already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound Solarite cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. Okay, so let's give the girl a background. For that, we're going to use C0, B quadruple 0, BG10, and my colorless blender. And we're going to do a little dotty background this time. So I'm just going to take my little C0 first, and I'm going to put some dots close to her body. And I like to do it first because we're going to take the colorless blender and smush all the dots together. So I just kind of go close to her, and then I dot my pen out here just a little bit. The faster you go, the smaller your dots will be. The slower you go, the bigger they'll be. I forgot what I was going to say. And I bring them out here too. And I'm just going to work my way clear around to the other side. Try to get here close to the snowman too. And then we'll go down to her foot. Then we're going to grab B triple or quadruple 0, and I'm going to do the same thing, and I don't care if my pen touches some of the other dots, that's fine. We'll bring that out here to the outside a little bit. We just try to add some color. Work our way back down to the other side. And over here, put a few out here a little bit. And then also, we got to do some in here between her leg. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing with BG10. So again, I don't care if it's on top of other dots, that's fine. And this one's a little bit darker, so I'm not going to put quite as many. Just kind of dot it around a little bit. Work my way around to the other side. Bring a couple out here into the outside, out here a little bit more. Go around our little snowman. And two, if you accidentally go put dots on your coloring pad, or the girl or the snowman or whatever, you will be able to erase it if you do all the dotting first. Okay, so we got all our little dots on there. So now I'm going to take my colorless blender, and this will work best if your colorless blender is full, not running out. So I'm just going to swipe over, and I got a little bit on her shoe right here, so I'm going to erase that. But I'm just going to swipe back and forth over all the dots, making sure to go over the entire area and kind of out past into the white. And this will kind of smush all those colors together and soften them up. Go over here, going between the stuff. And then you can go back and add more if you would like, or give it another swash with your colorless blender. So let's do the ground next. For that I'm going to use C3. And I'm not going to do anything fancy this time. I'm just going to go a little bit above her shoe. And come out on this side. And same over here. And then I want to go around the outside of her shoe. So let's kind of go in here. And that's all I'm going to do. So let's hop up here and do her face. For that, we're going to use E21, E00, E50, E000. And for her cheeks, I'm going to use R02, 12, and 11. And I'm going to go ahead and start with my E21. I just got a little bit of her neck showing right here. I'm just going to color that in. Take care of that right away. Okay, so for her face, let's go up here. There's a few little dots right here that the artist has put on her face already, so I'm going to use those as my guide to start. And then I'm just going to go right across her forehead and down this side of her face, since she's tipping it down on this side, and around to her neck. Then I'm going to go with E00, and I want to put this color over here on this side. And then I want to soften this edge, so I'm going to flick away from it and do just a little dab out here into my white. And then we're going to add a little dab of our E50. And I'm going over both the E21 and the E00 with that. And we'll work our way back down here. I'm not worried that it's not blending yet, because we're going to do her, this is E000, we're going to do her cheeks, and then we're going to add a second coat. Okay, so let's add R02. And I kind of use the little dots here that are on her cheek as my guide. And then we're going to add R12. And then R11. And then I'm going to grab E00. I'm going to lay that here on the side of her face and brush it up to her eye and over the top of this little cheek. And same for this side. Let's brush from the side, over her eye, and over that little cheek. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit down here at the bottom and up here at the top just to soften those lines. And then I'm going to go with E50. And same thing, I'm just going to go clear across, clear over her face. So let's go like this. And then I'm going to go over her entire face with the E000. And if you wanted to pinken up her cheeks, you could add a second coat. For her hair, let's use E44, 31, and 42. And I'm going to start with my E44. And let's start up here and do a little bit right next to her hat. That. And then over here, it kind of dips down and around. So we're going to do a little bit in here. I think I'll do a little bit right here in this corner where it goes underneath of her hat there. And then for her little ponytail, let's do some coming when she's got a little rubber band in there, so don't color that. So we'll just just add a little bit of color up here, and then let's bring that down underneath her chin. And then let's add a little bit down here where it's rolling underneath, and right here where it looks like it's coming back up. And we better do a little bit right here where this piece is coming, swooshing up right here. Okay, then the other side, let's go ahead again and we'll do a little bit up here by her hat. A little dab in that corner. And then we need to do a little bit coming away from that ponytail wrapper. And then back on some of these on this side. And let's let a little bit, she's got a little bit of her hair showing right here at the bottom, so let's give the bottom of that a little twitch, and right here on the side a little bit. Then we're going to add E31, so let's go up here at her bangs. A little dab up here, there. And then we'll just fill in a little bit up here. And then let's give a little dab over here. And then I want to fill the whole thing in with my E42. Then I'm going to go back again with my E44 and just put a little bit more of that dark back in there. And I try to keep my lines going in the direction that the hair is going. And let's do some over on this side. And I think I'll do just a little bit right here. Let's do her boots and her coat next. For that, we're going to use W3, 1, and 00. I'm going to start with my W3, and let's start down here on this little boot. So I'm going to go right along the edge, and then she's got a little bitty wrinkle right here, so I'm going to bring that out. And then it kind of dips out again here, and then there's a little wrinkle, so I'm going to bring that out. And let's come down here. And then let's do, so the boot kind of goes around like this with her sole. And then we're going to do that on this side. And there's a little dip, so let's give it a little line there. And then I also want to go to the top of this little crease. And let's do down here on the bottom of her sole. And we better do a little bit on this side. Okay, for this boot over here, again, we're going to go on this side of her boot, and then we're going to go over top of this little wrinkle, or the top of her boot, and then we're going to go down this, and do the sole down here at the bottom of her foot, the bottom of her shoe. And we're going to go across this side. And then same for this side. Let's give it a little bit of a sole over here. Then we're going to grab W1. So we're just going to go over the top of that W3. I'm just going to widen it out just a little bit. And same for this side. And then we're going to go over the whole thing with W00. And this side. I'm going to come back and go over it a little bit more. I'm going to smush all those colors together. And let's get on this side again. That. Okay, and let's go up here and do our little coat. So we'll start with your W3. And let's do a little dab here where her chin is touching it. That. And then the same for this side over here. And for a sleeve, let's go, since her hair's there, let's go along this. And then she's got a little bit of a bump in right here, so let's go in with our pin. And same right here. And then I want to go around the inside of this sleeve. And then on this side, where it looks like there's a little pocket right here. And then over here, let's go underneath the collar and under her chin. And then we'll do this sleeve, and there's a couple little bump ins right there. And let's bring this down just a little bit. And then on this side of the pocket. Then we're going to add W1. And we're just going to go right over the top of that W3. And then we're going to take our W0 or W00, and we're just going to soften those edges and then fill the rest of the coat in. And then over here, let's soften this side. I'm thinking my W00 is going to need to be refilled. It's not really going the way I would like. I'll have to make sure to remember to set it aside and give it some more ink. And then I'm just going to brush right over the top of this and fill that in and go around these buttons. Then I'm going to grab my W3, and I want to do these little lines again. So let's go right up here. And just go back over where we previously had put our W3. And then I'm going to leave it like that. Let's go up here and do the fur on her hat next. For that, we're going to use C3, 1, and 00. I'm going to start with my C3, and let's do this little pom-pom up here. So just like the background, I'm just going to add some little dots down close to her hat. And then we're going to do the same thing over here on this part of her hat. And remember, the faster you go, the smaller your dots are going to be. The slower you go, the fatter they're going to be. And let's go up, down here, like that. Then we're going to add a few of our C1. then lastly, we'll add some C00. I'm also going to add some down here where I already put my dots, so that will kind of smush them kind of together. For her pants, we're going to use C1, 00, B, 000, and our colorless blender. Okay, so let's start with C1. And for that, we're going to go right down the edge of her pant leg. And then we're going to do inside of her pant leg over here. And then I'm going to do a little bit really close to the ruffle of her pants. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Give a little bit to that little knee right there. And we'll come down this side of her leg. Then we're going to go with C00. And we want to just soften that edge of that C1. And then I'm going to go over the entire area with B, 000. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and I'm just going to give it a couple highlights. So let's do a little bit right here at the bottom of her leg. And then let's do one right here on her knee. And that will just soften the color that you've already laid down. For the snowman, let's use C3, C1, B, 000, C00, and the colorless blender. I'm going to start with my C3, and I'm just going to do a few little dots on this side where his hat is tipped down. And then I'm going to do a few right over here underneath the stick for his arm. And then a little bit right here next to where his head's touching his face there. And then there's a few little dots down here. Let's give that a little bit. And then I'm going to add a few C1 dots. And let's give this a little bit right here under just a little line there where his hat is. Then I'm going to go with a B, 000 for some dots. And then C00. We'll soften all that up with this. And then I want to swipe over him with my colorless blender. Kind of squish all those colors together. For the snowman's little sticks for his arms, let's use E42. And I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to fill those little things in. And then for his nose, I'm going to use YR12. And again, nothing fancy. Just going to fill it in. And then for the band on his little hat, I'm going to use C9 and 6. So let's go with our C9 first. And then we'll add a little dab of our C6. And I'm going to leave a little white spot there in the middle of his hat. Band, so it looks like it's got a little shiny spot. Okay, that leaves us with the red. So let's use W5, R27, R17, and R05. And I'm going to start with his little hat here with my W5. And I'm going to do a little bit of that just along the back side of his hat. And then a little dab here in the corner. And then I'm going to grab R27, and I want to go right over the top of that W5 and go past. And then we're going to add R17. And I always save the red till last because me and red, I don't know what it is, but I tend to touch it with my hand when I go over it, and it gets on my hand somehow, and then I transfer it somewhere else. And this is R05. It's supposed to dry instantly, but mine does not. The R29 or R27 just tends to not be dry all the way. I don't know why it does that. Okay, so let's do her glove on this side. So grab your W5. And let's do a little dab, and let's give her a little bit of a thumb there, impression. And then we'll go right along the bottom of her mitt. And then we'll add R27. So remember, go right over the top of your W5. And then we'll add R17. And then we'll fill it up with our R05. So let's hop up here and do our hat next, so I make sure not to touch anything. So do W5 first. And I'm going to do a little dab on this side over here. And then R27. And then R17. And then finish the rest with R05. There. Okay, so for this little mitten over here, I'm going to wait and do that, and I'm going to do these little, this ruffle here first. So for that, I'm going to use R27, just so I don't have to touch it later. But I went in and the circles, every little circle on this little cape, I colored in, and then I left the edges white. Okay, and let me work my way back up this side. Try not to touch that hat. These are pretty small. About halfway through, my eyes start to cross. If you're like me, that's when you tend to get a little bit closer. Okay, so there's a little ruffle. And then let's also do the buttons. I think I did those. Yes, I did those with my R27 too. So let's go ahead and fill those in. And I tried to miss the little strings that she's got, or the little thread that's holding them on. I tried to leave those white. So I'm just very carefully going around the edges. Okay. Then that leaves us with this little mitten over here. So grab your W5. And I'm going to go right along her thumb. And then up here, I'm going to give it a little bit more of a swoop. And then we're going to add R27. Whoops. I just completely went out of the lines right there. I'll have to fix that here in a bit. Okay, R17. And then R05 to fill that in. And let me see if I can squish some of that back in. So with my colorless blender, I'm going to go right over that and see if I can push some of that back in a little bit. Okay, not perfect, but better than sticking out all the way. So there's our adorable Tilda with little Snowy all colored up. Didn't she turn out cute? And then again, here's my finished card. And on my finished card, the cinnamon is popped up and the rest is flat. And then I added my Spica clear glitter pen to her hair, of course, to add some sparkles. And both of these little dies are new. Those are from Precious Marieke. It's Marieke, in case I'm saying it wrong. But you got the snowflake corner and then the snowflake border, and both of those would be super cute to add to your Christmas cards, and they are available in the store if you'd like to pop over and grab one up. So if you have a question, make sure and leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, I hope you had fun coloring with me today, and have a great day. Bye!